Hi, I'm Dr. Heather Rice with Wellspring Chiropractic Lifestyle Center. Today I want to show you what we do when people come into our clinic that are struggling with TMJ problems and how we can adjust the jaw joint itself as well as the upper cervical spine. In our clinic, we use a light touch tonal model where that's where I do my best work. And that's different from a structural approach, which some people are familiar with. At times I might use some impulse or structural care, but for the most part, I see my best changes with people when I'm using a light touch. And so the first thing we do is we do an assessment of what is happening in the cervical spine and the upper neck where the nerves are controlling the jaw joint. And we make a light touch, and when we make that light touch, it helps the brain to find aspects that it had lost track of. So oftentimes the brain will encounter jarring of the spine or stress patterns, and it will kind of adapt in that moment, and then it just carries on with that adaptive physiology. And it kind of loses track of what's going on there. When we do the light touch, it helps the brain to find that pattern, and it can make a decision where it can release some of the tension that's built up in that area, and it can integrate some of the old stresses into more of a present time mode where those stresses are not happening. So we like to make that light touch, and we watch the response in the body. And oftentimes we'll see someone may take a big breath right after a gentle touch, or we may see that they feel like they want to shift or stretch or move their body, and that's the brain reorganizing that patterning. We also may see that there are involuntary motions that can happen in the spine, and when that's happening, again, it's just the brain reorganizing things. And then sometimes it looks very still on the outside, but there's a lot happening on the inside. We also have a method of testing the TMJ joint itself and making corrections in that way. So we use a muscle testing or kinesiology approach for that, where we can ask the person to resist our pressure, and that's our testing method. And then when we touch the TMJ joint, if it goes weak, it tells us there's some concern there. And then we can use our light touch model again to help correct that area. We can test it with the jaw in a relaxed state. We can test it with the jaw in a clenched state. And that helps us uncover different aspects of the pattern. And then we're always going to test afterwards to make sure that it is integrating and it is clearing. So that's how we approach TMJs in our office where people are struggling with the TMJ. We want to look at not just the TMJ joint, but we also want to look at that upper cervical spine. I hope that you found this helpful. If you're curious about whether or not we can help you, just click on the link and we can get you scheduled for a new patient exam, and we can find out if we can help. And certainly if you have other people in your family, your friends, your neighbors, coworkers that are struggling with TMJ problems, please share this video with them and maybe we can help them as well.